Today's video is based on a short story, The Last Fight in the Coliseum by Charlotte Yonge. In this video, I'll first discuss the author's profile, then we'll analyze the plot, the themes, and then the message in the video, in the story. But before I begin, I'll encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Now, for the author's profile. Charlotte Yonge was born in 1823 and she died in 1901. She was an English novelist and she wrote for the service of the church. Her books were pivotal to the spread of the Oxford movement, in which high church members of the Church of England eventually developed into Anglo-Catholicism. She wrote several books, and some of them were for children's literature, but most of her works are now no longer in print. Now, for the plot of The Last Fight in the Coliseum. We notice that sports and entertainment became the passion of the Romans as they grew stronger and conquered other nations. Their leaders started to satisfy this passion by giving them the entertainment they would enjoy. And so coliseums were built for sports and entertainment. The grandest was the Coliseum at Rome, built by Vespasian and his son Titus. I will show you a picture of a Coliseum. It is now on the screen. You can see from the picture that at the center was the arena for the games and sports, and these were bloody, while the stands, which were built like modern-day stadia, were for the spectators to these bloody games. The Coliseum accommodated people of all kinds, both the great and the common men. At the Coliseum, displays of cruelty to animals were held. Animals were made to fight other animals, one attacking, the other defending. The animals were tortured to please the crowd. The Romans loved to see death and they were satisfied with bloodshed. Christian martyrs were slaughtered and fed to animals. Prisoners were sacrificed to animals. And last of all were the gladiators who fought with each other to death. Amidst all this bloodshed, the Romans always poured perfume around the Coliseum to obscure the smell of death, the smell of blood, because they disliked the smell of blood. If a gladiator was defeated, the people would decide if he should live or if he should be spared. Thumbs up meant that the defeated can live, and a thumbs down meant death for the defeated gladiator. The people so delighted in their savage pleasures. Amidst all this, even when Christianity began to take hold on Rome and its empire, the games at the Coliseum were still held. Religion did not make the people repent of their thirst for blood until one fateful day, when one hermit decided to sacrifice his life and plead to the people to stop the bloodshed. When the gladiators were assembled, ready to fight to the death, he stood between them, asking them to reconsider for their lives. No one listened to him, but they shouted him down. They started to pelt him with stones, and the gladiators cut him down. As they killed him, the crowd realized that he was a holy man, and holy men were revered in Rome. That day the people became penitent, and it was resolved that no more gladiator games were to be held in Rome and the empire. So what are some of the themes in the short story? One would realize that the narrator does not seem reconciled to why humans love violence and are bloodthirsty. That observation is not only pertinent at the time of the Romans, it is a universal truth. Entertainment featuring violence and bloodshed always sells. The narrator seems to be re-echoing the views of William Golding in Lord of the Flies, who posits that it is easier for humans to be savages than civilized. Politicians satisfy the whim of the people. They do not concern themselves with what is moral or immoral. They use ethics to gain political advantages and do away with it when it runs counter to their selfish craving for power. All they understand is power and holding on to power. The emperor still promoted the games at the Coliseum even when Roman Empire was Christianized by Constantinople. This is because the people loved the games and the emperors wanted to give the people what they loved. Another idea is that when people are respected in the community, people who are respected in the community stand out as one to decry injustice and other evils. It might make the people listen and change their ways. But when these ones who are supposed to lead by example are corrupt and immoral, it becomes a custom and everyone believes that it is the right thing to do. Now, what does this story all mean? This story is a moral. Remember I told you Charlotte Yonge was writing for the service of the church. So while reading through this story, which was mostly narrative fiction, one message that I could derive for it apart from the theme is this: that one little action, no matter how small, could be enough to change the course of history. The hermit was one small voice among the thousands of bloodthirsty spectators, but at the risk of his life, he spoke to the people to reconsider their savage custom. His conscience would not allow him to keep quiet. The hermit lost his life, but he achieved his goal. So, never underestimate the good you can do for humanity. You might not be able to change history, but you can change other people's lives by influencing them for good. To end this video, let me read a poem which was composed for gladiators that were to be killed at the games held at the Coliseum. This poem shows that there was no pity for them, but the desire that their blood be avenged by other gladiators. So this is a poem in the short story that was written by the author for fallen gladiators. It says, I see before me the gladiator lie. He leans upon his hand, his manly brow consents to death, but conquers agony, and his drooped head sinks gradually low, and through his side the last drops, ebbing slow, from the red gash fall heavy, one by one, like the first of a thunder shower, and now the arena swims around him. He is gone, ere sees the inhuman shouts which hailed the wretch who won. He heard it, but he heeded no. These eyes were with his heart, and that was far away. He recked not of the life he lost, nor prized but where his shrewd heart by the Danube lay. There were his young barbarians all at play. There was their Dacian mother, he their sir, butchered to make a Roman holiday. All this rushed with his blood. Shall he expire and unavenged? Arise, ye gods, and glut your air. So this poem shows that fallen gladiators were not pitied, but they were being urged to await when their deaths would be revenged by their relatives. So that's all for the short story, The Last Fight in the Coliseum by Charlotte Yonge. I encourage you to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Have a nice day.